Well, it's an exciting day today as we finally received the Rust Cosmic Desktop beta version. This right here is Pop! OS 24.04 long-term support beta. We finally received it a couple days ago. It's been a while since we've been able to look at this particular desktop environment. So we're going to see many updates here, and we're going to be going through things and checking it out. First, we're welcomed after a fresh installation of Pop! OS 24.04. You'll get this welcome screen here, which you can toggle on the screen reader, change up the interface size, use additional scale options, and a magnifier. What's interesting here is you'll notice on the screen is that the additional scale options is a little weird. The numbering format here is a lot different than, let's say, for interface size. So a little mismatch there. I'm going to boost it up a little bit so we can see things on the screen a little better. Anyways, we hit next, and then we can set our Wi-Fi. Then we get to choose our language and go through the keyboard layout, although I did set some of this up already with the install at the beginning. So it's a little goofy that they make you do this all over again. No big deal. But I'm going to set my time zone as well. I just want to run you through the welcome and the greeter. So what's cool here, we do have a few options for personalizing the appearance now. And it's more than just the Cosmic Dark and Light. We have Comet Light, Cream Light, Mocha Dark, Nebula Dark, and my favorite, of course, is the Cosmic Dark. So I'm going to stick with this one as I do like using it. I don't know if I clicked on Cosmic Light, but this is what Cosmic Light looks like. Again, I like Cosmic Dark the most. Nebula Dark's pretty great too, but let's go with the standard theming here. I do love how snappy things are. You can see that once you're changing between these, it's almost instant in the background. And that's really the feel after using it for the last few days on my other computer. It really is snappy. That's what I love about this. Although there are some flaws here. Of course, this is a beta again. We saw 7 different alphas before this. So this beta is pretty in tune at this point. I'm going to hit next here. There is also a different layout configuration. You can either set the top panel and the bottom dock like we currently have, or a bottom panel if you need a little more space on your screen. You won't have this top panel at all. Finally, workspaces for your workflow. It just lets you know that you can float or automatically tile windows per workspace using the tiling applet. We're going to get around to that in a bit because it's one of the things that absolutely shines in this particular desktop environment based on Rust. And one of the best features here, the window tiling support, which is baked in right away, easy to navigate and use. It just gives you a little clue here. Shift super, and then using the arrow keys to get around. Another fast and efficient thing here is the launcher, which again, we'll go through. Anyways, once I hit finish, I am welcome to my desktop with the dark theme here. I do want to talk briefly about what Pop! OS 24.04 long-term support beta requires. It is around 3.2 gigs, at least for the NVIDIA version. It's recommended that you have at least 4 gigs of RAM, 16 gigabytes of storage, which I would just double that to 32 gigs of storage. I've personally had issues putting most Linux operating systems on anything under than 32 gigabytes, especially with Debian, for example. Put this on a 64-bit processor, no 32-bit support here, and they want you to use a 16 series NVIDIA graphics card or newer. You'll also have to make sure that you disable secure boot in your BIOS in order to install Pop! OS, so make sure you understand that. But now let's get into the Cosmic Desktop environment, the beta version here, developed by System76. The Cosmic Desktop environment, for those of you who are unaware, is a desktop environment much like GNOME, KDE Plasma, Cinnamon, etc. But unlike those desktop environments, it's built in Rust and uses System76's own GUI toolkit called libcosmic, which is based on iced, instead of using something like GTK or Qt, which most desktop environments use. This makes it unique on Linux. In short here, this is a modern Rust-based Linux desktop that balances simplicity and power. You get all sorts of cool things. First off, like tiling, tabbing, and workflow flexibility. One of the favorite modes of most people that start using Cosmic right off the bat, which even if you use Pop! OS, you'll be used to this. It's that you can choose between the workspace behavior. You have tiled mode and floating mode. By default, you're going to be in floating mode. You can also select to tile the current workspace. So for example, we can launch a few applications from the bottom of the screen. And once those are up, if I go up top and I just say tile the current workspace, boom, instantly it tiles the workspace for us. And then we can select the behavior to also be tiled. What does this do? Well, it still lets you use your mouse, but now I can also use my keyboard to navigate and group things and use it, which is super convenient, especially for us who spend a lot of time programming. This mode just makes it super easy to get around and use things. But if you get lost or you forget something, you can hop right back in, use the mouse, or get out of the tile mode. If you need a clue to how to actually use it, it's right here. Just click on this button right here. And if you're in tile mode, it tells you navigate windows using super arrows, move a window using shift super arrows, and toggle the floating window by using super G. So you don't even need to use the toggle button, you just use super G, which in most cases is either going to be the Windows button, option, or command button, or it might be called super on your keyboard. Regardless, it is quite a beautiful thing. This is what sets Pop! OS and the Cosmic Desktop apart from many other desktops. And it is the first thing I want to highlight, as you can actually get into window management settings and make even more adjustments. For example, like the super key action currently opens the launcher. The launcher is a fantastic thing as well. For those of you who have used Spotlight on Mac OS, you'll know how powerful it is and how useful. But regardless, we have just a few more settings here. Let's focus on more of these. But first, let me exit out of the terminal. And now with the terminal exited out of, let's look through a few of these things. First off, we have the network and wireless settings, Bluetooth. I'm still having issues with the Bluetooth, and it's probably just me at this point, but I cannot get my MX keys to work properly with this. I'm not currently on my other system where I've been trying to do that, but I'm having issues. Short of that, I did get my MX mouse to pair, and currently I'm just using a dongle for the keyboard. No big deal there. This has gotten a lot better. You can also toggle your Bluetooth stuff right up top and get to the Bluetooth settings as well as enabling Bluetooth. Accessibility gets you useful tools like a screen reader, a magnifier, a high contrast mode, invert your colors, color filters, and color filter type. Desktop gets you a slew of options, but my favorite here is the appearance, as this happens instantaneous, and it is one of the cool features of Cosmic Desktop because you can export and import. So if I wanted to accent my colors differently, or I wanted to change the container background or the styling like rounded square or slightly rounded corners, offer a spacious or compact design. I like comfortable here, but let's just test this real quick. I'm going to go with slightly round, and I'm going to go with a different color accenting. I'm going to export that, and I'm going to save it to my home directory for now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change things around. We're going to make this purple here, and I'm going to go with spacious to make things a lot bigger. And that's what I'm currently running. We're going to come right back to that. But before we do, if you enjoy videos like this, do not forget to subscribe below. You wouldn't want to miss another video like this. YouTube does get finicky, and smash that like button on the way back up to get this video out to more people. I'm excited to be exploring Cosmic Desktop, and I'm sure others would be as well. In the displays, we have very basic settings between resolution, our refresh rate, scaling, the additional scale options, which I still don't understand why in the world this looks different from everything else. It did on the welcome screen as well. Whatever, maybe it's an oversight, or maybe I'm just missing something. The orientation of the screen. Then we have sound settings for our microphone and our output, power and battery, including different power modes. Know one thing, if you do have a laptop, you'll want to select whatever mode that you like. And if you have a desktop, you'll more than likely want to go under the high performance mode. Anyways, you also have power saving options like turning off your screen and automatic suspension. Input devices include keyboards and mouse. Applications, we can select default applications, startup applications, and if you have any of those old X11 applications, there is Xwayland, which can help you with compatibility. Time and language includes setting your date and time and region and language. And finally, system and accounts. You can access things like user accounts, about, and firmware. We're going to be getting into how much memory is being taken up by the desktop environment, including system settings in a little bit. So stick around as we go back to the desktop under the appearance. And now let's use the import feature and just show you how cool this is. Boom, instantly everything goes back to what it was before. It makes it really easy to go between different appearances. Now, one thing, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like a few of these settings, for example, like the style, doesn't always go back to what you actually had selected. I might be wrong about that. I'm going to do some more investigation and get back to you. And actually, while I'm at it, I'm just going to set this to square and comfortable here because we know it's slightly round and spacious. And I'm going to re-import my dark RON file. And sure enough, it did not change it back to spacious and slightly round. So again, I liked round and comfortable. I'm going to stick to that. So there are currently still little bugs here and there. I would assume the style and the interface density is not getting exported properly with the appearance setting. Something that the team could note. Regardless, we always have this little magnifying glass which lets you search for things like if I wanted to check out Bluetooth, it gives me all sorts of information about things that actually pertain to Bluetooth, even if you misspell it. Another thing is that there is a lot of things that you can change up on the desktop, including things like wallpaper here, the panel, the dock at the bottom. We already talked about window management, and finally workspaces, which is something cool. All I have to do is hit super down, and guess what? I'm in a new workspace. Look how fluid this is. It's fantastic. So if I want to go full screen mode, notice how it fills up the entire screen, and we get all sorts of little animations. If you look at the bottom here, the dock expands out. So it's one seamless screen. I do like how this is set up. I'm going to go to another one and open up Cosmic Files, and we're going to get back to this, but let's go back up to my other workspace and now check out workspaces. Notice every time you place something in a workspace, it assumes you're using it. And then once you're using it, you can create another workspace. So I couldn't create 3 until I had something opened in 2. And once I do, I can move things around between these workspaces and grow and even pin them, which is awesome. This is working flawlessly at this point. I can even move things between the workspaces, which is kind of cool as well. And I'm really liking just how fluid and fast this all is. Now, the one thing I'll say is there's really no easy way to destroy a workspace. You pretty much just have to exit out of everything on that workspace, and then it finally automatically cleans up that workspace in the background for you. Plenty of ways to get around here, all very clean with the workspaces. I also want to talk about all the new applications that we're getting, because a lot have been rewritten in Rust, and they're pretty fast. First off, Cosmic Files. What used to be GNOME's Nautilus is now Cosmic Files, and it works pretty great. We have all the features that we would expect from a file browser or manager, and we can simply type in things if we want to go between places. What we didn't have before is if you start typing, it's trying to fill things in for you at the top here as well. I like that as it auto completes now. Everything looks good. It's minimal, visible. I like it. I love the maximized view as well. The search feature works good. It's fast and convenient. Overall, I think the Cosmic Files is great, super responsive. I'd say it's one of the most responsive file managers that I've used. The GNOME terminal is pretty fantastic as well. And tabbing support is great in here. You can easily create tabs. It's almost instant, no lag, no delay, as the tiling and tabbing feature is fantastic. It's actually seen as one of the Cosmic Desktop's best features. Between creating stacks, creating tabs, this thing gets pretty powerful. So let's just open up a few things here. That way we can tell what I'm talking about. First things first, I'm just going to use the mouse to overlay stuff. So I can show you that you can move things around and group them without actually having to use the key. In between the tiling support and then tabs, I just got so many different places I can be using, and it all shows up clean on the screen. The best thing is it's just super snappy here. Now let's say I would just want to focus on one window. Just click expand here, everything just goes away. It's fantastic. I go back and my tiling stays exactly the same. I love that. So anyways, in here, we're going to be checking out a few things, but I want to start a new workspace. In this new workspace, we want to talk Cosmic Store, as this has officially replaced any other store that was available before, and it works fast, just like the rest of the desktop environment. There are many different types of categories here, and I'm happy to finally see that if you click create, it says create. If you click work, it says work, develop. Before, this was kind of a mismatched thing, so they've fixed this. I love that. And we can see our installed apps. We can open them up directly from here, and we can actually uninstall if we click one. Not sure what open does for Vim. Maybe in a terminal? Nope, it does nothing. I don't know why open would be there. Who cares? Uninstall, so I can get rid of it from here, or of course uninstall it in the terminal. Updates, make it super easy to look for updates. The best thing to use is simply the search bar up top. Let's say I want to look for Discord. Look how fast this thing works, and I can hit install. Let's see what that looks like. Great. It has details as well. What if I want to stop this thing? Well, now I don't see a way to stop. I believe this is one of my gripes from before. Let's say I accidentally clicked install on something and I don't want it to actually install. I think I should be able to stop it. But regardless, let's see what it looks like to finish this up. I'm also going to go back and exit out of here, open this up and click on installed apps. I should see Discord here in a moment, but I don't know exactly how to get back. Let's see here. Nope. Whoop, that's not what I wanted. There are some updates here. What I really wanted to do is just see that progress for Discord, and I don't know how to get back to that. I know there's a way. I don't know off the top of my head, but here we go. I clicked open on Discord. Let's see if I can uninstall it. Yes, I can. Fantastic. That's just a brief overview of what the new Cosmic Store looks like. It works pretty well. The only thing I can mention is maybe a stop button or something to cancel if you didn't want to continue installing something. Maybe you just misclicked, and an easier way to get back to viewing what's being installed. Again, it just doesn't feel intuitive. I know there's a way, I've just forgotten the way to do that. So the Pop Shop is replaced by the Cosmic Store in this one. And now I want to talk about a few key components inside Cosmic Desktop. First off, we're using Linux kernel 6.16. We'll see that in a moment. Mesa driver 25, NVIDIA driver 580, and the default browser is still Firefox. Very good. Let's talk about the dock a little bit. Create a new workspace here, exit out of all of this, and then go down here. This is our dock. Most of you are aware of this thing. If you've used Pop! OS in the past, right click in order to pin an app to a tray. If you want to remove it, just click the pin to app tray, uncheck it, and then it goes over here if it's open. Now it's open in my other workspace, so not exactly sure why I see it in a different workspace. Is what it is, I don't know. Not sure if that's quite the behavior you would want. I would think the two workspaces should be completely separated, but it does not let you forget about another workspace, which is fine. Anyways, if you do have an application opened up and it's not pinned, it will show up on the right-hand side, and it's going to be denoted by a little tiny dot at the bottom that there's something open. For example, my Cosmic Terminals open up in this other workspace, all good. Some of the defaults here, besides me removing Firefox web browser, is the launcher, workspaces, applications, Cosmic Files, Cosmic Text Editor, Cosmic Terminal, Cosmic Store, and Cosmic Settings. You'll notice that Cosmic is used all around the desktop environment. If an app's on here, it's probably called Cosmic something. Anyways, with the launcher, surprise, surprise, it's not called Cosmic Launcher. This is one of the most fantastic apps to get around the system. Instead of searching for your applications through something like applications, well, you can search in right here. For example, if I want Discord, notice how fast, as I was typing, that was loading in. It's almost instant. Forget that, let's look for appearance instead. If you don't want to use your mouse, you don't have to either. You just hit Control and some number, and it tells you right here which one. So for example, if I wanted to launch the Cosmic Store, I'd go with Control 2, and boom, it's launched. Very good. Another fantastic thing about the launcher here, I'm just going to hold down the super key and it pops up, is that you can do math in here. If I wanted to do, for example, the square root of 4, that should work. Just have to put an equal sign up front, and it uses the calculator app in order to do the math. So I can do some complex math, but the weird part here is if you do equals, that sets the calculator, right? For some reason, I can't get it to launch. Let me actually do it directly from applications. So I'm going to do calculator. Oh, I don't see it in here. Must be called something else. Can't imagine it'd be called something else. Regardless, having a little trouble there. You would expect if you're doing some math like 5 minus 1, we have 4 here. If I were to click on here, it should start with whatever formula I was using into the calculator app. Maybe I have something messed up here. I am emulating this currently as I can't get my other desktop to be recorded externally. So bear with me if something's a little off in this version, but most of the things that I've said that are incorrect have been discovered on my desktop. Anyways, up top, you can also access applications from here. I love the look of this thing. You have subcategories at the bottom, including Office, Systems, Utilities, and adding a new group if you want to create a new folder group. It's very clean. The icons are plenty big. You can also search for your applications up top. Right of applications, we have our current time, date, and a little calendar if you click, and you can just view through things. Very simple calendar, nothing special here. You can view your events and whatnot as well, and set up your settings as needed. Right of that, we can select a keyboard or keyboard settings. If we have more applications that use the top bar, they'll show up in here. For example, I can quit out of Discord. We have accessibility items as well. You can toggle on various different things. Right of that, we've already visited this one as it's one of the coolest features, especially if you like tiling Windows support for your desktop. Now you can go between both at any time. Right of that, we have access to our volume for both output and input, and selection of what we want to use for output and input. We have Bluetooth, then we have a wired or wireless connection. We have notifications right of that, which you can set your do not disturb on if you want, so you don't get any notifications. And finally, the power button with settings, a lock screen, logging out, suspension mode, reboot, and shut down. Very good, as we're seeing a lot of the Cosmic Desktop built on Rust. I do want to show you the greeter screen, but before we do, if you want to level up your Linux experience today, check out my checklist, cheat sheet, and my map, all available at SavvyNik.com. Get those sheets today. On the greeter, it's very simple here. It tells you the date and time. If you have more than one user, you can select your icon and user up here. Mine's currently SavvyNik. Then it shows me if I'm connected to the internet, whether it's wireless or wired. We also have to set our keyboard layout, which is great in case there's multiple people using different types of keyboard layout. We can also suspend things, and you'll be greeted by the same screen after the suspension. Now, what's interesting is if you restart the computer and come back, you might get more options, including a user option, session option, suspend, restart, and shut down. And that's the greeter. Once we log in, this is what things look like. As they're logging in and coming back, things are, of course, quick to load, even after a restart or suspension. So I really haven't showed off the window tabbing support, or what they call stack mode. You do Super S, and now you'll notice up here this little stack. And now I use Super, Shift, and then the arrow keys, and that can actually push a window into a stack. So let's just keep doing that. I'll do Super and then arrow, and just select another one, Super, Shift, arrow, and then just put it on the stack. And I'll just keep doing that. And notice now I have this wonderful stack of terminals. And we'll do it to this last one just so we have everything in here. And now I can easily just tab through these things without having to use the tiling window at all. And I do that with Super Tab. Or I can just do Super Arrow to get through them even quicker. It's a fantastic way to keep using key bindings to get through the same window if you have many different windows. The tabbing support here is fantastic, or as they call it, stacking. Just another mode I wanted to show off. And now since we're in the terminal, I do want to show the magnifying out. If I do Super Plus, you'll get this magnifier, which is kind of cool. And you can control it by yourself. It's a little interesting and can be hard to get around, but your view can move continuously with a pointer, or when a pointer reaches the edge, or when the view moves to keep the pointer centered. Regardless, you can use this very easily in order to see and magnify into something. So in here, let's use htop. So we'll do sudo apt install. Forgot that I did not install these quite yet, but let's check out the system settings real quick. With these terminals running, let me just exit out of a few just to make sure that we're not overrunning something. Htop here, perfect. We have 1.39 gigs out of 8 gigs being used for the desktop environment alone, which is actually not bad at all. The uptime here is only 8 minutes, so it's pretty much a fresh boot up of this thing. This is on par, if not a little less than GNOME, which is fantastic to finally see, as we were hovering around that 1.8, even reaching the 2 gig number at some point. The CPU is currently fluctuating around 0 to 4%. The swap is allocated to be around 11.7 gigs, which is quite interesting, as it's more than the memory that I actually have on this computer. We currently have 104 tasks, 270 threads, 83 kernel threads, and have now been up for 9 minutes. Fantastic stuff. I'd love to see that they've been working on optimizing how much memory this desktop has used. That is one of the things that people have complained a little bit about, is it was just showing up a little more than GNOME. I'm glad to finally see that we're on par, if not winning out GNOME at this point. All right, now let's just check out the system settings here. We're running Pop! OS 24.04 LTS, the beta version, x86 64-bit. It's running kernel 6.16, bash 5.2. It has 1,754 source packages, 6 flat packs. Some of these are installed by me, of course, like Discord. It's the Cosmic desktop experience with icons from Cosmic, and this is being emulated on an AMD Ryzen 7 3700X series, and we're currently using 1.4 gigs out of 8 gigs of RAM. Fantastic stuff. We've checked out so much of what this desktop environment has to offer today. It has been a few years now in the works, and we're getting very close to a polished first release of the Cosmic desktop. I'm sure a lot of you are very excited to replace GNOME for this. I want to know if you are in the comments section below. Is there anything that you are excited for? Are you going to try the beta? I do want to point out some things that may be missing. I haven't seen any kind of HDR support, no touchpad gestures, some input methods not clearly working. I think there could be more accessibility, but overall, this has massive potential, especially for those of you who like using floating and tiled window managers. We have a hybrid model here, which is fantastic. Everything is built on Rust. It's super fast, and I really enjoy using it. Now, I do have a special video coming up soon. It's about a specific laptop which I'll be checking out, so you wouldn't want to miss that. Don't forget to subscribe below, smash that like button on the way back up. Can't wait to see the final release here after the beta. I wonder how many beta updates we're going to get before the final version. Catch me in a great community on Discord, and I'll catch you in another video. Thanks for watching.